Hey everybody, it's Carpo here. I wanted to make this video somewhat quick. I don't have a lot of time on my camera, but I end up running out of disk space and then I've got to transfer files and whatnot. But anyhow, it'll still got like 10 minutes or so. For me, that's a short video, right? I wanted to share, yesterday when I went out with my family, we went out on a drive and went on a little hike. When we came home, there was a package waiting for me from somebody. I thought, it'd be cool to do, to unbox it, I guess, on camera, but I don't do that. I just think that's cheesy. So I opened it up, checked it all out, and it was a bunch of stones from somebody, and I don't want to mention who it was. His name's Matt. If he wants to comment, he can. It was the coolest gift I've gotten in a long time. I also got a box from Blaze a while back, and both of them sent me really cool shit. So it inspired me to make a video showing my favorite stones and then some of my resin jewelry. So I want to start out, get to the point, and show the ones that he sent. He sent me, and hopefully the camera picks them up, decently. This is apophyllite. It's a really beautiful little crystal. And then we've got a piece of smoky quartz. I love smoky quartz. And then this is one of my favorite things. I've always wanted one of these. It's Libyan desert glass. It's called a Tektite. And it was out in the middle of the desert. There's all this glass that they were trying to figure out how it formed. It could have been a meteor impact millions of years ago or whatnot. But that stuff's really cool. And I'm only going to name a few of my favorites here. A really nice piece of labradorite, which I also have another one over here, which is one of my favorites too. A gorgeous piece of agatized petrified wood. Really cool. I mean, things like that, you want to keep them whole, but at the same time, they'd be cool sliced into cabochons. And then he sent me some incense and some Palo Santo and another agate rock and some other ones that are in the house. And this piece with malachite and azurite, which is awesome. And thank you. That was an awesome gift. I was just so stoked. I mean, little things. So these are some other ones that I've bought in the past. This is a piece of celestite, and it's blue and it's clay based, so it's very, very heavy compared to other crystals. Another piece of petrified wood I have. I love petrified wood. You can see I've got this huge chunk of it right here too. This is a piece of fluorite that I bought. And then I've got this pink stuff. I think that this is, I want to say it's stilbite, pink stilbite, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a really pretty stone. It fits in your hand perfectly. This is one of my favorites of all time. This is a piece of fluorite with calcite, and then it has quartz granules on top of that with fool's gold or pyrite on top of that, which is really cool. And then I got a couple of pyrite chunks that everybody's got some pyrite, right? And then this big chunk of amethyst my wife gave me years ago. It's just, I just love stones. And I figured since I was going to make a video about some of my favorite stones, I'd show off some of the ones that I actually have carved and cut myself. For example, this is a piece of jasper that I found down at the river, and then I sliced it. This was one of my first cabochons, which is why it's kind of rough looking. It's not perfectly smooth. Gorgeous piece of agate though, or agatized jasper anyway. And then various pieces, like a rough piece of petrified wood. If you just polish it on one side, you can get some really gorgeous details. And this is a piece of petrified bone. It could be dinosaur bone. I don't know what kind of bone, but it's there's an area in Montana where there's tons of this stuff. And this I sliced it and polished it, and you won't be able to see it through the quality of the camera I've got here. It's just a phone, but I'm gonna in the future upload a video, because eventually I'll be selling a lot of these things. I've just been fascinated with stones my whole life. And so by cutting them down and making my own cabs, these right here are shungite crystals that were given to me by Blaze as well. Those are awesome. If you haven't heard about shungite, you should look it up. It's an interesting, it's another form of carbon. besides like diamond and graphite, and it's pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. So that was those are my stones. I should just maybe I should just move my stone box out of the way, and then I can get into these other things that I wanted to show you. I've been doing resin jewelry, and eventually I'm going to be marketing these things, and I've really had a fun time doing it. You know, since I'm shifting gears on what I'm going to be doing for a living a little bit. Being an artist isn't going to pay the bills, but it's definitely going to satisfy my soul, if you will. I've been working on these things. Now these are basically just chunks of I've dried out shelf fungus, right? You might see it growing off of trees sideways, and it will be a big round thing. It's a conch, otherwise, that grows on trees. And I have several dried specimens that I then slice into pieces. And then, you know, this is 2 pieces with resin between them, with a little wand that I made out of resin. This is a more complex version of basically this. And this is just a simple conch encased in resin. And this one has cannabis in it, actually. So I'm curious to know what the marketing is for these things. But if you do shine a light on it, it will glow for a long time. This is a UV light, and it's funny because I give these away with them. They're just fun to make, and there's several different types. Maybe I can move this out of the way. And I have like this kind, ones like these, and each one's unique, right? Well, I was fascinated with resin, and I really wanted to start making resin jewelry. This is one my wife designed, which has, let's see, what was it? Oh yeah, it has like grapevine pieces in it. And it also has old man's beard, but it has the glow powder in it, so it'll glow. It's bright in here, so obviously it's not going to glow for, you know, very brightly. And like, for example, this one is like a hair clip, simple hair clip, which, you know, once charged up, it glows. The cool thing about these is that, and this is why I'm fascinated with the glow powder, is that you can, you know, wear them under UV lights or even out in the sun. But when you come back to your indoors from whatever you're doing, they glow like crazy. So I made several different types of bracelets, and you know, not all of them glow. The greener they are, the more they glow. See the one on the side there, that's old man's beard. You can see it strung throughout there. It's like a moss. And some of them have cannabis seeds and various things. But if you get just the right combination, it can almost look like jade. Now that's cannabis and glow powder mixed in together with resin. So these are fun to make. But this was kind of my inspiration for this. Was I was working on making the stone cabochons and carving stones, and I was like, what can I put them in to make something different and original? Everybody else is doing wire wraps and, you know, silver and whatnot. So this right here, for example, is a piece of jasper that's been encased, and actually it goes all the way through. I haven't finished this side yet, but there's the back of the jasper, and it's basically just embedded in there and then resinated in. Some of them, basically, I just put them on necklaces like this. This is a super thick one that I ended up painting the back of with some flowers. So everyone's a little bit different, you know. While I was in the process of learning, I decided I would make rings as well. And I love the rings because you can get those to glow. Some of them glow and some of them don't. But the rings I encase cannabis in as well. It's just such a fascinating thing to encase plants in there. So I figured I would do cannabis, why not? And I'm still wary about whether there's a gray area there, if you can ship them or not. One of the last pieces here I made out of Fimo clay. This is just kind of my personal piece that I made. And it has, Blaze Harmon sent me this. It's a flower of life pendant made out of wood. And so I embedded it in Fimo, cooked it, and then I encased that in glow resin. I think it glows a little bit anyway. Yeah. You just have to charge it up a little bit, but in a room you can see it much better. Dark room. And then I wanted to make things like this. This is one of my Fimo medallions for the Kratom. It was my kind of Kratom inspired necklace. And then I also make these cuff ones. Like this one has a piece of fungus in it, along with old man's beard and some sandalwood. And the one I wear has cannabis in it. So my wife and I both wear one that look like this. I think mine's a little bit, only has some glow powder in it, but I wish it was darker room. But I have several pictures of him that I'm going to post eventually. I think that's all I was going to go over. I wanted to go over precious metals too. Talk about silver, because I love silver, but I'm going to save that for another video because this one's long enough. Hope you've enjoyed me sharing all my random things. What do you like? Talk to y'all later.